All right, welcome to the impressions video for the week. Always awkward to say. Anyway, up this time is Traxion 3000. Traxion 3000 is a cave flyer set in outer space. Explore the underground caves of 6 different alien planets. Fight enemies, solve puzzles, and salvage the valuable cargo pods. Now with up to 4 players. Right, so if you recall, a few weeks ago, not sure how long ago exactly, but not too long ago, we reviewed a game called Traxion. That was the first game in this series. This is the third game in the series. Yeah, if you're keeping track, Traxion 2 is currently missing from our reviews. That's because, for whatever reason, the publisher sent out the review codes out of sequence. We have received the second one, but it came well after the third one. Don't ask me. I'm like, and as also noted, this is currently an early access title. So before I get into things properly, we have another generative AI warning here, because the developers describe how they used AI-generated content like this. Traxion 3 uses AI-generated voice for in-game characters. So, yeah. That's a virtual chop to the throat right there. Because, it's, you are depriving voice actors of their livelihood. Please don't do that. Once again, I will note that this is an early access title, so I'm not sure if the developers are claiming it, but this may be a placeholder while things are in early access. I ideally hope it is.
Yeah, it's one of those that's slightly better, but it's still not the best.
It's more, you can fix this by going and hiring humans to do your voice work.
Right.
Now, everything else is handcrafted, according to the disclosure forms. So, getting to the game proper, if you refer back to the Traxion 1 review, so this game plays fairly similar to how the first one did, in that you fly through caves, you are looking for cargo, you will occasionally have to deal with enemies, and you have a tractor beam. So some things have been improved and nerfed, like your fuel. If you recall, in game 1, you had fuel tanks, which only carried a limited amount of fuel. And that was actually part of your strategizing through getting through the level. Here, at least in this current state, the gas clouds, they're unlimited. So it's not so much you have to give your considerations to the reserves here. It's just you have to be careful now. Just be careful. Because like the previous game, if you bump into walls, and you will, because thrust is a thing, inertia is a thing, once again. So there's a very good chance you'll smack into a wall and lose a significant chunk of your energy. So I'm not sure if it counts as cheesing. What you can do is you can go back and forth. If you have the fuel reserves. because that's kind of the risk versus reward. So the big gameplay change as far as the single player goes, outside of having more obstacles to deal with, is your tractor beam. So this time, instead of having the weight-based tractor beam of the first one, now we have a tractor beam that operates in 360 degrees. And there's no getting around it. It's fucking awful.
Yeah. Because you can't really operate it independently of your movements. You think you'd be able to, but no, you have to move in order to tractor beam things. So that, like, if you're using a Xbox controller, that means you're pointing.
Is it because it only pulls it directly towards you, or
No, if you're not using your thrusters, it won't pull.
Yes.
Oh, that's
so.
It should at least pull towards you, even if you're standing still.
But it doesn't. That's bad. Fix this now. It destroys the entire game. That's my impression of this thing. It's like, it's one of those, things that I get what they were trying to go for, a more versatile tractor beam, because it's got the full range of motion now. But it's like it's got no propulsion. Your own propulsion pulls the thing along.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bloody awful, once again, because you got to keep pulling. It's just incredibly awkward on the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather have the pulley system from Traxion 1. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but at least that I didn't have to worry too much about the objects being able to move.
Mm-hmm.
There were other problems with it, specifically the weighing you down, but once again, that was part of the strategy. Like, I don't think they intended this to feel this awkward. And if they did, no. Go back to the drawing board. Worth also noting that the other big addition is a multiplayer mode, in which up to 4 players can participate in co-op and deathmatch mode. I did not try this because, once again, local co-op focused.
And we've never had good luck getting remote play together or working.
But even if, I got Petty his code. Like, if you want us to try out the multiplayer, you kind of have to give us the multiple codes. Some publishers have done this. If you're a multiplayer focused game, and I request the multiple codes, sometimes they give them to me because, oh right, it's it's got a substantial multiplayer, so that's got to be taken into consideration. Can't do that here. It's like Diner Bros 2. They only gave me 1 code, and that was, at least this game has a single player mode. Like, that is obviously a single player mode. Once again, because I didn't play the multiplayer, I don't know if the levels in that are calibrated to 2 to 4 players.
Oh god, how the ship moves around is very bad for tight spaces. I can't tell where my hitbox is. Well, once again, that's the Newtonian physics at work. The first game had that issue as well. You have to take into account lift and thrust and weight and gravity.
Well,
know,
that's usually fine. It's I can't tell how big I am exactly if I can even fit through the gap.
Okay, fair enough. The answer is usually yes, but you're probably going to get banged up. Like, in this level, I found a crevice that was really narrow, got through it. Turns out I wasn't supposed to be able to get through it because, I went out of bounds. Oops. So, once again, it's kind of a thing that needs to be fixed. But in terms of the actual state of the game, well, let's go to the early access notes. Currently, this game includes a nearly complete single-player campaign. Apparently the focus is on the cooperative and competitive multiplayer modes that need additional work and player feedback. Again, if you wanted our player feedback, you needed to give us more than one code. Okay. Apparently the early access period is supposed to go for 3 to 4 months, depending on the amount of feedback. I think we've kind of gone over that because this came out March 31st. I suppose it's still within boundaries since it's August. But getting down to the wire there. No, it's over. It's been 5 months. So that's not the greatest sign if the early access period is going on longer than anticipated. But then again, this game kind of definitely needs reworking. I'm not sure if that's possible. Probably not, but ooh. Early access or not, I can definitely say don't get this game just on the basis of how awful the tractor beam is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, in terms of pricing, currently the game is clocking in at $10. Let's see. Not really seeing. The price will not change after the early access period, so it's locked in at $10. Which I guess, on the surface, given everything that they're aiming to have in this game, seems to be a fair price. It's just, once again, the problems with this game kill it dead for me.
Right.
So, ultimately, not recommended. Go and play the first one. We'll see how the second one shakes out in a few weeks. But anything else to add to the Traxion 3000 conversation?
They can't hear you screaming in the void of space.
In fairness, you're not in the void of space. You're in a brightly lit cave.
Quiet, you.
Anyway, so that'll about do it for this installment of the Fragments of Silicon Reviews. Coming up on the week ahead, on Wednesday, August 13th, we'll be welcoming Stephen Joseph of Third Echo Sounds. So maybe the name of his company gives it away, but he is a composer and sound designer. Been a while since we've had one of these on the program. And that is he's a freelancer. Given looking over his body of work, seems like he leans more to the sound designer part of that job listing than there's a lot of sound effects and soundscape work here. So, if nothing else, that is certainly going to be interesting. Like, we've talked to composers before, but we really haven't talked about people who build sound effects. So, but yeah, in terms of games he's powered with his sound, such works as Ethereal Echoes. Well, that could be the name of the album, like as opposed to Lloyd the Monkey 3 Judgment Day, which is flat out telling me it's an OST. And he's got a thing here called the Sci-Fi Pack of Third Echo Sounds. See, that's what I'm talking about. He's got an entire album of sound effects. As opposed to, once again, other composers we've talked to who are much more focused on, creating actual music. So, going to be an interesting conversation on Wednesday. And we do have a Friday show this week. A bit of a different track, as we'll be welcoming the Space Quest historian from the Adventure Game Hotspot Network, and also YouTube. Yeah. So, full disclosure, this was initially sent out and planned as an MSP review, an MSP interview. Sorry. But it turns out he lives in Denmark, which is not conducive to talking to people in Denmark most of the time, unless they're feeling very adventurous or very caffeinated. Was not the case here. So over to Fragments Daylight interviews this went. So instead of the usual game dev stuff, we're going to be talking a lot, about adventure games and, yes, Space Quest and Sierra in general. Because, yeah, he's been reviewing a lot of Sierra games on his channel. All of the King's Quest games, and he's been just finished off the Police Quest series. Also been going through the Tex Murphy games. Bit of an outlier there, but whatever. And we do have a new episode of MSP planned for Wednesday, so look forward to that. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.